how much is a home inspection? Home inspections have really become a legitimate expense for home buyers, especially first-time home buyers. They're not $250, $300 anymore. They are $400 and up, and that is being kind. So let's get into everything inspections, what to expect on what they cost, what different kinds of inspections, and what the lead time is on these inspections, and what to really absorb before you start getting into this home buying process. What should you be expecting when it comes to home inspections? Hey there, I am Christina Sparks, realtor with Real Broker, owner, House of Sparks. Okay, first off, let's talk about what a home inspection is and why we do them, okay? Home inspections are, I think, pretty crucial, especially for younger or first-time home buyers that really just don't know the ins and outs of the condition of a home in general. And what do we use these home inspections for? We will use these home inspections for general knowledge, really. So you're a home buyer and you want to know the condition of a home before you buy it. That can affect whether you want to still buy it, first of all, and it can affect the price and what repairs you want to ask for. That's the biggest piece of the inspection. Is the buyer will get an inspection and they will compile a list of things that they want repaired before they close on the home. These can also be worked out in situations like a credit, where the seller gives the buyer money to make those repairs on their own time. Home warranties can get involved. There's different ways to go about negotiating the repair process, but the home inspection is where all of that begins. So how much is a home inspection? They, just like everything else, home inspections have increased in price. And let me just say, the price of a home inspection will vary greatly on what company you use, how far out that the property is from the company's base. Like, I'm talking like rural properties and things like that. If your inspection company has to drive 50 miles, they are likely going to charge you a trip fee. So keep that in mind when choosing an inspection company. And it will also depend on the type of inspection or inspections that you need done. And we'll go over all of that in just a few minutes. A typical home inspection, for an example, let's say we have a 1,500 square foot house, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage in a neighborhood, so no far distance, in town, close to the inspection company. That overall home inspection is probably going to cost about $400. It could be $400 to $450, and that is just for a home inspection. And that is from crawl space to roof. So they're going to check everything in the crawl space. They're going to check for moisture issues, structural issues. A lot of times home inspections will come with a free termite inspection, and then they'll check everything inside the house. So a home inspection is a home inspection. There's not different levels or tiers to it. It's a home inspection. They check the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC unit, and they get on the roof and check for the condition of the roof. Now, when we get into specialty types of inspections, these are going to be house by house scenario. These inspections are not going to apply to every single property, and you may not even want them, but it is important that you know that they exist. Okay, so we're going to touch on some of these other types of inspections, when you would need them. I'm not really going to go over costs because a lot of these vary in cost by the inspection company, but just know that all of these inspections will be additional fees. First one we'll talk about is a well and water test. So if you are on a rural property, you likely have a well. So not only do you want to get the well system inspected, that includes the pump and the functionality of the well, the pressure and stuff like that, you also want to get the water tested, because well water is common for coliform. I'll spell it. Which is an easy fix, and it is very common. So even if it does come back positive, don't freak out. It can be treated. And actually, you should treat your well once a year. So, but there are other types of bacteria and issues that can arise. Coliform is the most common one, and it is the easiest treatable. But you do want to get your well inspected, and you also want to opt for the water test if you're going to pay for the well inspection. The water test is sent out to the health department lab, so that inspection lead time can be 3 to 5 business days, something like that. And also, if you are on rural property, rural land, you will likely have a septic system. This one can be tricky if there are not cleanouts present, which means like access at the ground level. The septic system has to be dug out, and I have seen that cost hundreds of dollars for a septic system to be dug out, to be tested. So keep that in mind. Maybe knowing before you place an offer might be a good idea where that situation stands. Like I said before, some home inspections come with a termite inspection. If you are getting any type of government loan, this will be required. Expect to get a termite inspection. If you're not working with a cookie cutter 3-2 and there is a storage unit or a shop or some sort of additional building that is not attached to the main structure of the home, the inspection company, if you want it inspected, the inspection company will charge you extra for additional buildings. Keep that in mind. If you want a storage unit or a shop building inspected along with the house, you will be expected to pay an additional fee. If you have a concern over a spot that you saw during a home preview, or even during the main inspection, you can get a fungal or mold testing done to see what kind of fungal or mold is actually present in the house. Informational purposes, right? You need to know what you're kind of dealing with and make sure that it is remedied correctly. Radon. Radon has become a more popular topic lately. It doesn't matter what kind of foundation you have or you're looking at, what kind of house you're looking at, whether it's a crawl space, a slab, basement especially, radon enters through the soil. So, and houses sit on soil. So radon could be tested in any type of home. And how this test is done is they set up what looks like a tripod with sensors throughout the home, and they let it sit there for, I think, 3 to 5 days. And then they come pick it up and they read the readings off of that system. So if that is something that you do worry about, radon testing is an option for you to explore during your inspection period if you choose. Now, these are inspection options that most home inspectors will offer. I will say you do have an option, and you can have an option to get a regular home inspection, do your floor to ceiling home inspection, and should the inspector bring up issues, find maybe some fungal growth or maybe some termite damage or something like that, you have an option to order these tests additionally. You don't have to order everything up front and pay for everything and do everything up front without any reason to. Remember that, keep that in mind. You don't have to do everything up front unless there is, some sort of concern during the showing or the inspection. Now, there are other types of inspections you can get done, and these will be more specialty inspections, expert inspections, I would say. So if you're going through your home inspection report and you've got roof issues, you've got electrical concerns, you've got a plumbing issue, you have an option to call experts out there. Now, you're not going to call the home inspector back out there. You're going to call a plumber, you're going to call an electrician, you're going to call a roofer. And a lot of times they will do free inspections, but there are companies and cases where you may have to pay a $100 trip fee for that specialist to come out, review your issue that the inspector brought up, and give you a bid on repair or remedy. Okay, so now that we know what kind of inspections you can get, let's kind of talk a little bit about the timeline, okay? So once you go under contract, and now I'm in Missouri, so I know not all states and all contracts are going to be the same, but for example purposes, let's just go with it. So in Missouri, once you are under contract, everybody's agreed, you have 10 days to get an inspection done. Now here lately, I've been putting 15 days just to give us a little time for review and stuff like that. But you can put however many days, reasonably, however many days. So for example's sake, let's say from contract, you have 15 days, and that's total, not 15 business days. You have 15 days, and that is to get your inspection done, your home inspection done, any results back. So if there's a well, a septic, mold, fungal, anything like that, get all of those results back. And should you choose to have roof, electrical, plumbing, any issues further looked into from the home inspection report, that should all be done as well. Because by day 15, whatever day is agreed in the contract, you should be prepared to ask your seller for repairs. You should have your list ready. You should know what you want to ask for. That is your timeline as a buyer. For inspections, those inspections take probably a couple of hours. It depends, of course, on many factors, but home inspections only take a couple of hours, and a lot of times they can fit you in within a couple of days. You want to make sure and give yourself plenty of time to do your due diligence, but just know most inspections don't take that long at all. It will be the review and the discussion that will take the longest. Okay, so we've gone over a lot of information about inspections, the cost, what kind of inspections, what your timeline kind of looks like when it comes to inspections. But if you have any other questions about home inspections, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help any way that I can. Have a great day.